Thanks so much for coming and joining our fourth edition, I believe, of the feedback streams. Just like as a quick intro for anyone new who's joining us, my name is Elsa and I'm a visual designer and one of the Adobe XD ambassadors. And I'm from Tanzania and I work as a freelance designer.
So XD ambassador and mentor here in the XD Discord server, and I'm happy to be here on the fourth edition of this live stream feedbacks. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining us.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Akin, although my foreigner friends call me Akin or Akin because the dotless I is not a letter in English. It's perfectly fine. I'm also a mentor on Discord and Adobe community professional. So yeah, let's do this.
Awesome. Okay, so I've shared my screen and we had a couple people submit their designs on Luma when registering for the event. The first design that we have is actually one that was submitted last month that we didn't get time to go through, which is Amulya's video editing design concept. So that's what we're gonna start with. Well, first of all, I really like the mock-up that they used. It really does feel like an actual screen on a TV. And I believe there's also a video component and prototype that we can check out in a bit. But just based on the individual design, I like it a lot. I think that it really does have a movie cinematic type of effect. I think that the imagery works really well. I like the panels at the bottom with the thumbnails for the trailers. I think that looks really cool. So concept-wise, I think that she did a really good job with it.
Yeah, I agree. It looks really, really beautiful, and Amulya has been submitting quite a lot of designs in the XD server, and she's doing a really great job, and I can see her progress also after each project. And it would be great also if we can see I can see that she posted video. I guess there's some interaction in there. I don't know if you want to review it now or maybe about the project, the overall design.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like what I see so far, and I briefly checked the project, and creating mock-ups like that, like a cover image of a magazine or something. Yeah, my screen flashes, let me reference to that tab on my window. So yeah, placing in a real livelihood environment, the designs, this approach is very cool. We can move on to UI, starting with Elsa, if you like.
Sure. So let me play the video. She's also included. This is Apple TV. Okay, there's like a horizontal scrolling effect. Okay, that's really cool. And when you click play, one of the trailers plays. Okay. Nice.
She's done such a great job with the video feature.
Right? I was just gonna say, like, this is such a great use of the video feature in XD. I think that it's a really cool, the animation works. I like the horizontal scroll. I think that's intuitive, and how the full screen trailer comes into play. So I think she did a really good job with that.
Yeah, I agree. Also, a really great choice of videos. And she's done really well also with typography. And the overall layout of the website looks great. Really nice.
Yeah, everything's solid, and there you can clearly see the interaction elements, and branding is actually it is shaped by the content, the Mandalorian and whatever show that you're viewing at the moment. But some general branding wouldn't hurt, I would say. Some logo at the top left, would add even more. Maybe she didn't want this app's own branding to compete with the content's branding. I don't know. But yeah, overall solid. My only hesitation is about on the episodes. I see she's written with a clear typography, episode 1, episode 2, etc. But we cannot rely on since the content is very flexible and there are many gray areas. I would have thought placing some transparent black background or some transparent gradient, something like that, right? As you would agree, I guess.
Yeah, agreed, definitely. Because like Akin said, you don't know if you'll get like dark backgrounds or light backgrounds, so that's important to consider too. And then there's also a prototype, so let me open that up as well, just to kind of see what it would be like if this were, a live concept. So we have the horizontal scroll, which works really well. Awesome. And then I think, if we play this, it goes into full screen. So yeah, really cool concept. Like kind of very similar to a lot of video type platforms. It gives me Netflix vibes, kind of slightly, but I think she did a really good job.
Yeah, that's a great submission. Looks really nice. And I'm also testing the prototype now.
You're also what, sorry?
Yeah, I was also testing the prototype and it works really great.
Cool. She's a hard worker, like you said.
Definitely. But thank you so much, Amulya, for your submission. Love it. Love the concept. Thank you so much. And then, so next up, we have a Behance portfolio submission from Bayancy Technology. It sounds like a company name. I'm not sure who the name of the individual is.
It's me, guys. Thank you.
Oh, hi. Welcome. Wait. Who just spoke? Mitul. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Glad you're here. But
so me and my team was looking for the feedback from Adobe. That was really great. So looking forward to this portfolio. So we are also following XD Challenger every day,
Oh, that's amazing.
So
thank you for submitting. I guess we can start off with like just reviewing the Behance portfolio. And then if you have any project in particular you want us to look at, you can let us know, or we can choose any random one as well. Either way works.
I sent the link. That is like a UX, so sent in the feedback channel. You can take a look at that.
Okay, awesome. So in terms of the overall, I really like the portfolio. I'm a big fan of the cover. Agile and Lean Development Partner gets to the point with what the company does as well. Just kind of browsing quickly through the different projects you have. I think that the cover image work really well. They're also different and unique. So like scrolling through, you get a sense of what each project is about, and the designs look great. So on first glimpse, I really like how this portfolio is set up.
I really appreciate that. So we have some animation tools in the link if you open any one of them. So you'll find that.
Yeah,
So we
definitely.
added some couple of animations inspired by Howard Spinsky.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely check that out. If Laura and Akin don't have any other comments on the layout of the Behance first.
I can agree with everything you said so far, and I'm also impressed by how much work you have done. You have uploaded so many projects, and I'm really excited to dive into one or two of them and review them. But overall, the Behance project looks really nice, and it's great that you have linked also your social media. And yeah, the cover design is also really nice. Nice gradient.
Yep, I appreciate it.
Yeah, overall, look is very good, and when you click to the projects, you see how seriously they take also XD daily challenges and write project-specific general UI UX info and insights, provide insights in the text. I liked the projects themselves, but also the way they laid out the information, whether that be in text or visuals.
100%. Okay. So I will just quickly pick one, and then maybe we can do another one and someone else can pick. But like, I like plants, so, well, I don't like plants, but I want to get into liking plants. So I'm going to open the plant identification app, and we'll do kind of a quick review on that. So in terms of the design, my initial comments are, I love the style. This is probably one of my favorite design styles. I like rounded styles. I think that this is incredibly well made and structured. You know, it doesn't feel like there's too much content. You've used the different colors in your palettes super well. Like, just looking at it, it feels like it's something about plants and something about, you know, bringing this thing to life. So I'm a big fan of that, and I like your typography too. I think that it works really well for the concept that you chose. So first impressions are that this is a really nicely designed plant identification app concept.
Yeah, that's a great thing about that.
Yeah, this looks really beautiful. I like all the visuals that you've used, all the plants, and really great job on the iconography. I don't know if you've created these icons yourself or you've used a collection that you've downloaded, but they are really beautiful and they suit the project really well. And you've done a really nice job with the layout. It's very clean and everything is, as I can see from first glance, really well aligned and well positioned. And I can see that you have very good understanding also of how to use hierarchy and typography. And and also nice that you've included description underneath the mockup. There's a description about the project. So yeah, this is really nice.
Yeah, I agree. And with all the layout, typography, colors, they're on point. Rarely I struggle finding some points to be improved, and this is one of those projects. This might be if this is a challenge, I think it was by Elise, which was a great comprehensive app starting from the day one and at the end of the week 2. It was basically she focused on one single project, the whole UI UX process, and this output is another great example of it.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah, and sorry to jump in, just one thing I noticed that I want to point out is on the third screen on the bottom you have like a menu that slides with the name of the plant, and then underneath you have humidity, watering, and temperature. And I think something small you can improve here is your color contrast, because the color that you've used for the small text, humidity, watering, and temperature, the color value is it's quite close to the background, and for some people, like I personally can see it, but not like people have different visual. Sorry, what?
Colorblind peoples, you mean to say?
Yeah, for some people it could be a little struggle to see it, so maybe use a little lighter color for that text, just to make it more visible.
That's great. Yep. Need to increase the contrast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
Yeah, those labels can be tricky sometimes.
Yeah, they can. But amazing work, loved it. we can do like one more if anyone has any that they want me to pick specifically.
Akin, do you want to choose what the next project is going to be?
Second from
the-
first row.
The first one in the second row actually caught my attention. Since we viewed one mobile, we can view one desktop one, right? The first one in the second row looks really, really great. I would love to. I viewed it beforehand, but yeah, we can view
Yeah.
and say a few things.
Okay, yeah, sure.
It's an inspiring project overall.
And Mutil, sorry, were you wanting to choose a specific one? Or
So at the first
Yeah,
row,
this
the
one.
second one, we added the prototyping a video kind of thing.
first row, second one?
Yeah, the dashboard.
Okay. We can do this and then also like do quickly the other one at the end of the session if we have time, if that's okay. But yeah, okay.
Yep.
Awesome. So this is a dashboard, which is cool. You have a bit of a description again, responsive sidebar, navigation dashboard. Okay, and then going back to the design itself. So just quickly going through it. I think as a dashboard, you used layout components quite well. I like the slightly greenish background with the white modules. I think that works well to make sure that each individual content section stands out. So we have like a score section, summary, products or products data section as well, and then a search bar on top with your sidebar on the left. So I think you've done really well also in terms of using colors to highlight specific elements in each of these sections too. I find that dashboards can be really confusing sometimes on first glance, but with this one, it feels like it's not so much content and information being put forward. It feels like it's just enough, so I can skim it quite quickly and easily. So I think you did a good job, or your team did a good job on that angle as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I think we have added the video below. If you can, slide it down.
Okay, yeah. I'll click that. Laura and Akin, any other comments before I jump into that?
I agree with everything you said. They've done a really great job with the overall design, and the mockup looks great. And I specifically noticed the work with color here. I really like that they've used green to notify, for example, in the second card on the first row, plus $45, and then red for when it goes to minus, and yellow. So that's really well, because it helps the viewer really skim through and see from the first sight. So that's a really good work with color, and I'm excited to see the video as well.
Yeah, great insights. My only, since all of the positive points are mentioned by my friends, I'm gonna also say there's too much, not too much, there's so much, you can never have too much content for a dashboard UI. There's so much content, but the way you organize them laid out is looks like makes it really scannable and easily digestible. My only critic sort of feedback would be just I would try to increase the contrast in plus, and I mean the -1 in the sales, -$20 looks like it has enough contrast, but the yellow and green could use some more contrast. I know when you use small text, you need to put some extra effort to make sure they are easily accessible and have enough contrast.
Yeah, good points. And we'll quickly review the video. I had one other comment, but I actually want to check out the video first, so let me play that.
The video don't have much, but
Your video has exactly what I was going to I was gonna say, I wonder if you hover, if it shows the words next to the icons, which I think is a great thing. So it's awesome that you did include that, because some of the icons make sense, like email and chat, but some of them are obviously more ambiguous. So it's really good that you included a version with the actual text next to them. So that was a great decision.
Yep, appreciate that.
Oh, awesome. I really like how it's responsive. It's really well done.
Yeah, really nice job with the animation. Looks great.
Yeah, I also liked the expanding sidebar menu animation and functionality. I would only say maybe the placing the expansion indicating arrow to the top right of the left sidebar. I only can't be sure about that because that might not be very clear for some users. Maybe placing it in the middle, vertically in the middle of the sidebar might be a better decision. But yeah, I'm getting just nitpicky. Everything's perfect other than that in this UI, to me.
Yeah, awesome.
Great.
Great job, Mitul. This is a great dashboard design, and we really enjoyed reviewing your portfolio and a few of your projects. So thank you so much for submitting as well.
Thank you guys for your valuable feedbacks. We'll make sure we'll do more and more progress in it. So really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean,
You're welcome.
you're kind of doing an
Yep.
amazing job. So we were like just praising your work, but yeah, thank you for submitting.
Yeah, I kind of like suggested one feature to the Howard Pinsky, and we successfully added that. So like that was the Lottie and the video feature in the XD, right? So really thanks to the Howard Pinsky that you listened to me, guys.
Oh, the video with Howard Pinsky on the Lottie animations?
Yeah, so we were discussing in the design feature, and he did listen to me and added that into the XD.
Oh, okay. Well then, okay. I guess we have to thank you.
And that
for...
really helped me. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you again. Okay. So next up, this is Flux One Manga Reader. I actually can't remember who submitted this. I don't know if anyone has access to it.
I did. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hello.
Masso, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I had to go to like Discord to check. Awesome, thank you. I'm glad you're here. And I already love your submission. I just have to say, as an anime fan, I'm like, oh my god. But Masso submitted a manga reader in app style, so it's like an app concept. So we'll kind of briefly go over an overview. Since it's the XD file, there are like prototype interactions too. So I'm gonna also showcase those. There's a dragging animation here, so you could kind of scroll through different features. And I like that as you scroll, the one that you're on kind of adds in more context as well. So that's really cool. Then there's a section here for horizontal scrolling too. And then a kind of a lists group down here with a couple different anime titles. I think those are the main features. So briefly, general concept. I'm a big fan of this animation. I think that it's a cool way of highlighting these individual titles, and I like how this purple box with the text comes in. I think that you did a really good job with the layout. It feels a lot like my anime list, but like a better version of it. So I think that you did a really good job with the concept. My only piece of like kind of feedback is more so on typography. I think that a sans serif font works really well. I wonder if it would kind of look a bit more unique if it was, I think this is either Helvetica or Arial or something along those lines. So I'm wondering if it would look a bit more unique to use like a font that's not as typical, but that would still work with this concept. That's the only thing that stood out to me.
Okay.
I agree with Elsa. The overall design looks great. You've done a really nice job with the layout. everything is categorized and organized really well. I like that you've included pagination in the first horizontal scroll, so the viewer can see, how many cards are left for them to view. The only thing that I noticed is on the second section, there is an up icon, which is a little bit hard to see because all the covers are quite colorful, and I find it a little bit hard to see this rectangle where it says up with the arrow.
Okay.
So maybe I would think of another way to do it more visibly, to make it more visible. But everything else looks really nice, and I think you've done a really awesome job. The navigation also looks really great. It's nice that you've included supporting text next to the icons. That's a really great job. And overall looks amazing. Thanks a lot for submitting.
Thank you. Also, there is you can click on the bleach cover.
Oh my god. Oh. Okay, very cool.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, Akin, do you have...
Oh, wow.
Right? I didn't even notice that. Actually, is it all of them? Oh, okay, it's just bleach. Oh, okay. Akin, did you have like comments on this page, and then we can go to the bleach page too?
Yes.
You guys pretty much covered. I like the interactions, and it's really clever to use horizontal sliding content groups because in mobile screen real estate is even more valuable. I would only say another great point by Elsa was on typography. Or such a project, a more unique, more themed or designed look might be better. I would also say the top bar is silver light gray, although it looks really nice. I would go for interaction color, some shade or tint of that purple. Lastly, in this screen, I might consider section titles looked the lectures one and the classmate one. Those could be a little bigger with more spacing because they looked a little weak to me considering the sections they represent. And the logo in the top left would be just a little bit bigger for a better and stronger branding.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so let me open the bleach page. Okay, and then we have a couple different chapters. I assume the ones with the purple overlay and eye icon maybe mean that those are the chapters that have been read, potentially?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Awesome. So I really like the design. I think that it works well. It is structured very similarly to other manga apps I've used, so it feels familiar and intuitive too. And I especially like that there seems to be this like black overlay here, which creates kind of a cool effect as you scroll. The only issue is I don't use iPhone, so I don't know if this kind of works. Someone who uses an iPhone might need to tell me with the top bar if that's kind of something you can do with it.
Yeah, also, I mean, I don't use an iPhone either. So
Okay.
so I wanted to let him on the screen to be sure that, I mean, how it will work if I had this, I mean, if I was forced to let it on the screen.
Good question. Okay. But other than that, I really like the design. I think the only other feedback that I have is more so some of the icons are a bit ambiguous for me personally. So, for example, this, I think it's a radio icon. I'm a bit unsure of like what it means. I don't know if there's a way,
Oh, yes.
to provide like tech support, or if there's like an alternative icon that can work, or maybe it's just a me thing. But it's a bit ambiguous, so I'm not entirely sure. Oh, cool! There's this effect. Okay. So you can read more of the description on the manga. I think that's really cool. I like that with the arrows here to open it up. That works
Yes,
great.
I didn't know if the arrow was maybe too much.
I think that it lets you know that there is more. Instead of putting it all here, I like that you kind of left it as dot, dot, dot. So the user has the choice if they want to read more, which I think is better overall. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And you can also open the first chapter of the list.
Oh my god. It's like
Oh,
we're
wow,
like
this looks
uncovering
so beautiful.
we're like uncovering more. I love this chapter too. Oh my god.
Yeah, this last one amazed me, like really, really nice.
It feels like
Yes.
a real app. Oh, it's like this is really like an actual manga app because when you click, you can see the and then go back. Amazing. Okay, yeah. Comments from anyone else?
Yeah, it looks really great. I agree. We've done an amazing job with the whole flow and the whole app. It's very difficult to provide like feedback for improvement. Maybe something that you can work on a little bit is here on the top. You have subscribe button
Yes.
and share button. Again, because of the colorful background, it's a little bit hard to spot. So yeah, maybe that could be improved a little bit. I think everything else looks really nice. I think you've done a really great job, and it's good that you've worked on developing so many interactions. Looks really great. Amazing job. I love this app. I would definitely use it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Great content, great presentation of content. I would only pay more attention to some details like those icons with purple background. Looks like a stream icon, or can't be sure.
Yeah, in fact,
ones.
this icon is just an indication to say that for people with some visual disabilities, they can listen to the chapter and not read it. I don't know how you say it in English, but there's a voice that is
audiobook, like an
Yes.
audiobook. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would certainly click and check that if I was using the app, and it's perfectly, I see the interaction is wired up in prototype. It takes me to the, that all of us very much like the chapter review, the anime book content, and yeah, a great job overall, I would say. Some details could be improved, like also in the first screen, I see the navigations drop shadow at the top of it. Could be less. I mean, yeah, we're just getting picky, but it's obviously a working nice prototype with great content.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Awesome.
Welcome.
Amazing submission. Thank you so much for sharing your work with us.
You're welcome, and thank you for your nice feedback.
Okay, next up we have Sachin and Mrinmoy. I don't know if they're here as well, but they have submitted a case study, user research 1 Cognizant. Okay, awesome. So I think this is like a more of a case study format, so we'll go through the design. 1 Cognizant enterprise application platform. Okay. Okay, cool. So it's like some kind of enterprise portal, internal portal for employees of the company. Okay. So So we have like timeline that they created for how they approached their research too, which is quite thorough in a 6-week project. They have their own details as the people involved and a journey to problem solution. So goals, problems, hypotheses, experiments, and outcome. And then their problem statement. Okay. So just from like skimming through this, they have stakeholder mapping. They invested a lot of time into doing research for this project. So from like a UX perspective, it's really well done. You know, they took the time to define what their problem is, understand their target audience and who they were trying to solve this problem for, which I think is also extremely valuable. So they did surveys as well, and kind of have provided quite a detailed overview of their research too. But yeah, as I scroll through it, if you guys have any other comments, because it's quite long, so I'm just gonna keep scrolling, but if you have other comments to mention, please do. Okay, information architecture. And then I think these are wireframes, which is cool.
Yeah, there's a high fidelity in the end.
Okay, mood board. Okay, so I guess now we're getting into the styling and branding. But the actual research and how they detailed it was great. I mean, it's, I think, one of the most thorough case studies I've ever seen. So that was like an amazing job in that regard. Provides a lot of insight into how they think and kind of approach these kinds of projects. And then now going on to the hi-fi designs. Okay. So this is the main dashboard. I think general impressions are that, okay, I'll kind of start here. So general impressions are that I do like how this is structured. I think colors, especially the dark blue, work well, and they obviously took a lot of time in considering how to approach the layout of this dashboard according to their target user and maybe what they might need. So they have like tasks and most used apps, and then my apps, etc. So I think that works really well. It's a bit harder to see on this image. I don't know if there's going to be like a larger image of the main dashboard, but my only feedback at this point is more so on how exactly to maybe highlight certain things a bit better, because right now initially my eyes go directly to most used apps because that has the most color and is the most vibrant thing on the page, and then everything else is kind of just like on a whitish background, so it kind of blends in a bit more. So it's a bit harder to really single out the different content sections, but overall I think it's kind of a standard dashboard layout.
Yeah, seems like it. I agree, they've done a lot of work, and it would be great if they come up with a way to maybe highlight the main points, considering that maybe hiring managers want to skim through quickly. So maybe highlighting some things would be nice. And something I was wondering about was in the cover image, under the title there is UX UI design to ... I don't understand the function of this sentence and dots there. So if they don't have any function, I would remove them.
As you both pointed out, these high fidelity screens are a result of a very comprehensive UI UX process, and I believe I also have mixed feelings about the UX UI design too. In the cover, user research one Cognizant, and UX UI design too. I think he wanted to indicate that this presentation, this project, this particular submission includes also UX UI design on Behance. And I would remove it actually, since user research, one Cognizant, or maybe I would indicate it in some other way to make it clearer. So overview and the whole process as summarized in a very efficient and great way with great insights. And I'm moving to the wireframes, and yeah, you can easily see the style guide. And I previously checked this on Design actually. The only thing about the way the content is presented, I said it would be much better if on these bluish purple backgrounds in the section titles to use a white text instead of that light green, because colored text on colored background can be really tricky, and we usually avoid that. Usually stick with grayscale text on colored backgrounds. Other than that, UI looks really solid. I mean, this is a result of a hackathon or designathon or something, I guess, a 6-week process, right? I would say in the UI, I wouldn't use that harsh of gradients. I mean, although they look nice, but since they have text content over them, this is an enterprise app with employees are managing their tasks and other relations with the company and their work in general, I guess. Considering that, I would go for some softer looks in those gradients, since the rest of the UI looks really corporate, and as it should. These can be edited. And other than that, yeah, it looks solid. I can't find much to say other than that. Spacings and all layout looks solid and looks like it's working.
Agreed. But yeah, awesome project, very thorough study, and thank you so much for submitting. Amazing work. And our last project is a delivery, I believe website, looks like a website, but UI. So we're going to go through that. I also can't remember who submitted this, but if you are on Discord, feel free to let us know as well. This is very cute. It's like my first impression of it. This styling, I don't know if it's still popular now, but I did see a lot of it a couple months ago, or maybe sometime last year, where people were like really simplifying layouts.
Yeah, Gumroad uses it.
Yeah, and like sticking to these like box shapes with the thick lines. So it's cool to see it again after so long. But okay, let me just quickly. So we have like a delivery, delicious dinner and fast delivery. Some interactions. So click menu, we go to a menu page. If I click this, okay, it gives me details on that. Okay, cool, interesting. But I guess we can start with the home page because there are like 18 screens as well. Initial impressions, I am a big fan of this type of design. I think it's cool and unique. The only problem is I think that it's very sparse with this particular concept. Like it feels like there's too much emptiness within it, and maybe that's due to the lack that even the images are like cropped too. So it's like even the visual component to it feels like there's something missing. So it might actually work better if it was a combination between like these thick, like large text boxes, etc. But at the same time, your images are still like images with like background elements, so they fill up those containers, and that might take away that feeling of emptiness in the design. But like that's kind of my initial feeling about it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think they've done the layout of elements quite well, but I can second your opinion on that it's being a little bit sparse and it's lacking a little bit of hierarchy by using maybe some colors and highlighting some things. Like now everything seems to be on the same level, like price and CTA buttons and navigation pages. Like I don't know where the user attention is supposed to go when they open this page. Like it takes a little time to figure things out. So yeah, using some kind of hierarchy and more highlighting some call to actions on each page would be great.
Yeah, awesome. I agree with both of the comments. Yeah, some visual hierarchy, differentiation in interaction elements looks like it's a must on this UI. Although mixing some images with that great illustration on the left is looks really on point and adds very much to the concept. But those are the focal points. I mean, yeah, product-oriented design, goal-oriented design. I get it. We want to sell things when we design digital products or sites, but we need to make them more usable and accessible by pointing out the interaction points and creating some visual hierarchy. And not everything can have equal prominence in a page. Using, as I said, using images with some background also would create a more defined look. This looks like, I don't know, if, this is also obviously a style. It had a name, but I can't remember right now. But
retro.
Sites like
Retro style.
Sorry?
It's called retro style.
Retro.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, this has some retro vibe, but I don't know if it was something else with some colorful and not everything on this page is retro, I would say, but it feels like a mixed style and moved a little further from a high fidelity wireframe, not a very... The sense I'm getting from it is not very polished or not very finished, but this is also a style, as I said, not just retro, but yeah, also that one. So yeah. But different and inviting overall. Could be more inviting with some colors and more definition on the interaction elements.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's what I like. I like that it is different. It's just maybe, also what Lora said, like maybe it's not even the image, maybe it's just like more color that could be added to it to add like a bit something more. But I'm like a big fan of the unique design that it has. I'm just kind of going through some of the other pages too here. The interactions work great. It's just, yeah, I think it's like minimalism, but it's like a bit too minimalistic almost for the actual concept.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the only issue. For example, this is the cart page, which is fine, but it also feels like, I don't know, it feels like elements are floating on the screen is, I guess, my take on it. So even though the concept does work and it is a trend or was a trend, it's like there's like a bit too many details that have been taken out. So it kind of leaves it lacking a bit.
Yeah, and maybe this minimalistic style would work for some services, but we need to have in mind what service are we designing for when we design a website. And for example, this seems to be like food kind of website where you order delivery. And when you look at these like the imagery that they've used are food on like transparent background, and I'm wondering what are their thoughts behind this decision, because I would say that if they use like other type of images that when you see it, you get hungry, you get appetite to order this, like, and I'm not sure if cutting out the product and putting it in a transparent background is like the way to go, or yeah, maybe if this was a website for like glasses, like sunglasses or something, and then you cut them out and make these clean images, then it would work. But for food, I would say show a little bit of the environment, like show this food in a plate or something, on a table where it's going to be eaten or something.
Yeah, great. The food on colored backgrounds, I like them more actually. I'm not sure if that's the special offers page. Offers page, yeah. Sixth screen. It reminds me MTV commercials in early 2000s or back in the 90s. Yeah, it has a unique look, and extreme examples of this design understanding uses even more colorful vibrating colors, which is highly suggested to be avoided by experts. They use it anyway, not professionals, one like Gumroad or something, but some designers experiment in different styles and go in extreme in their own portfolios, etc. Who are feeling crazy to go crazy in such projects, use those even vibrating colors for text on color backgrounds, etc. But this has a slight effect of that. But like I said, you are using a very plain look on the home screen. I would expect at least one call to action with that really nice solid yellow background you use for call to action buttons.
Yeah, agreed. Gumroad is a great example, actually. I think they do this concept well.
Yeah, Gumroad nailed that style.
But yeah, otherwise, still thank you for the submission. It's nice to kind of also look at projects that are kind of different as well and have a very different style to them. So thank you so much for, submitting and sharing too. And that was our last submission, which is great. I think it's like almost right on time for this session. I will stop sharing my screen really quickly. Oh yeah, but thank you everyone so much for joining. It was amazing to go through so many great projects, and also really great to have some of you actually here to like listen to the feedback live and talk a bit more about your project and your decisions. So this was great fun, and we hope you enjoyed it. And if you do have any feedback for us, you'll probably get an email if you sign up on Luma to share your feedback. Otherwise, you can DM any of us if you have any specific feedback. And thank you so much again for kind of hanging with us this Friday.
Thank you, everybody, and we wish you a great weekend.